DW Africa Link.
Just yesterday, it feels like I was the child under my parents' roof, waking up to the smell of bread and tea on the table. My only responsibility being to eat and head off to school. But time moves quickly. Today, that responsibility has shifted. I'm the one making sure there is bread on the table, and I'm the one caring for the very parents who once cared for me. This is the reality so many Africans are stepping into. We live on the world's youngest continent, yet Africa is also aging faster than ever before. By 2050, nearly 200 million Africans will be over 60. What does that mean for families like mine and yours? What does it mean for our economies, our health systems, and the future of care in Africa? This episode is about graying Africa, aging on a young continent, and exploration of how we adapt, how we honor our elders, and how we prepare for a future where youth and age must walk hand in hand.
Actually, if we've got relatives that are elderly, we need to pay them a visit. Actually, when people come to town or urban areas, they abandon villages. They literally just give them calls to talk to them. But then it's very important for anyone in an urban setting to pay a visit to the elderly, the other side, so that they can really feel like as though you do care.
First of all, the systems are changing. There is a lot of competition, even at family levels. People are competing for food, people are competing for water. Everything's at a level of competition. So there's a need to review. The government should come in strategically, and mobilize the families. Elders must be mobilized to be told that you are comfortable. Then after that, the children themselves, there should be regular meetings at family levels, at parish levels, at village levels, at clan levels. And the mission should be to tell them that this is your father, this is your mother, this is your grandfather.
That's what's coming up. Stay tuned. My name is Josephine Mahachi. Welcome to Africa Link, the podcast that connects you to the stories that matter from and on Africa.
Africa Link, every weekday here on DW.
Africa is the world's youngest continent, but it's also aging faster than ever before. By 2050, nearly 200 million Africans will be over 60. A demographic revolution is quietly unfolding across Africa. On a continent known for its youth, many villages are filling with the old for the first time. In just 15 years, the number of people 60 and older has ballooned by an estimated 50% in sub-Saharan Africa to about 67 million people. Even more dramatic, growth is ahead. The World Health Organization projects 163 million older people in the region by 2050. But pensions are rare, medical care is scarce, and poverty is rampant. The wave of older people, nonetheless, is coming. Advocates worry a catastrophe awaits. So, what does this mean for families, economies, and the future of care? Well, joining me for this very interesting discussion is DW's Frank Yiga in Kampala, Uganda, and Wanjiku Joyce Kairu, founder of the Purity Elderly Care Foundation and one of Africa's leading voices on aging and elder care. Let me start with you, Wanjiku, as an expert from Kenya, just to talk about the health, age, or demographer. Africa is often called the world's youngest continent. So why is aging becoming such a big story now?
First, I'll talk for Kenya. I think that's the best place to start. Aging in Kenya has become a big issue. There are a lot of things. We are looking at rural-urban migration, where the most family members do actually disappear or go to work. Education has actually increased people moving away from homes and leaving the elderly in their own homes. At the same time, we also have a bit of neglect because again, because of the rural-urban migration. And at the same time, we're looking at a number of challenges like substance abuse, things like neglect, abandonment because of poverty. Poverty is one major thing. And of course, the aging or the elder persons who are dying at the age of 80, 90 or 100, like we just celebrated 100 years of an elderly person last week. So basically,
Wow.
we are looking at quite poverty, which is actually brings loneliness. There's also a bit of lack of proper caregiving because people are too busy doing their own things. Again, it all ends up to poverty. We are too busy for our aging parents, and our lifespan. When I look at what is happening basically here in Kenya, we are not. People are dying at the age of 60, 65. So I'm not seeing not as going beyond like the elder persons before. And the reason they are aging well is because of what they eat.
But you say that we are too busy to take care of our parents or for our elderly. At times we have to work, right, to make that money to take care of them. But let me just come to you, Frank, also. You and I, I'm sure somehow we feel we're aging, but we not as much as our elders who are already like 70s, 80s. What does aging look like on the ground in Uganda? Are families coping or struggling?
Our template is the same as Kenyans, I guess, because when I'm to go by what she has said, it's similar to Uganda. But like you said, that we're aging. Our age group, me and you, as we age, the more you age, the more we appreciate old age. Yes, so definitely in Uganda, if I'm to take you to inform you about that, an elder or older person is officially defined as an individual who is 6 years of age and above. And Wanjiko said 70. Well, in Uganda, it's 6 and above. So this age threshold is established in the laws, such as the National Council for Older Persons Act. And majority of the older persons live in rural areas or villages, and only a few live in urban areas, including Kampala capital. Well, these older persons are recognized as a growing and vulnerable demographic in Uganda, facing challenges such as poverty. I guess this is a problem that cuts across Africa, just like Wanjiko has raised it, and also lack of social protection and evolving health, social support needs, increasing cost of living, and many others. So that's how we view old people, because it is what they are living. But most of them are in rural areas.
And going to those rural areas as well, Frank, have you met older people who are still working or raising grandchildren? What's their story? Just take us through that.
Well, yes, it's true. I've met a couple of them. And of course, there's this one story that is quite interesting, and of a granny who is about 70, 75 years. She's raising grandchildren. Now, the story comes about of a friend of mine that I know. She had a child with a man, hoping that she would hold on to this man. Unfortunately, the relationship didn't go right. And then she found herself stuck with a baby because she had to work and put ends together. So what she did, she took this baby to the granny in the village. And so she rarely visits her son. She rarely sends support to her son and leaves all this to the granny. Recently, when we went to visit, because she's my friend, we went to visit the granny, the baby could hardly recognize the mother. Yes, it was the granny was like the mother to this child, so you could see the gap. And this is the story that I believe happens, to so many elderly persons who are looking after, these young children of their daughters and sons. The story was so sad, no basic needs, education at times, here we have free education, but you find at times it's not free as it sounds, because you have to meet some costs. So she had that young child. She also had other children, grandchildren she was taking care of deep in the village. So that's one of the sad stories I've encountered of how these elderly persons suffer when it comes to raising grandchildren with no support from their children.
Roughly, before I turn back to Anjiku, Frank, was this, how old was this granny? I'm just thinking of this young child coming from school with homework, and granny is doing literally everything, they need also help with homework from schoolwork. But roughly how old is this granny?
The granny was about 70 plus, because the mother I'm talking about, who is my friend, is about 27 years around there. So that's all. If I'm to estimate her age, 75 plus around there. And the situation at home was so appalling. It was so sad, Josie. No electricity, water. You have to walk, to fetch water. And she does this by herself. And maybe a few grandchildren that are about 8 to 10 years that help her out. So when it comes to education, like you said, no, they have to sort themselves out, the children, and maybe either from school, but home, they don't expect any support from their granny or any elder to help them out with the schoolwork.
And what did your friend say about the situation that your daughter can't recognize you? Your mom has become their mom.
She was so hardened. Her facial expression didn't tell me that, she felt sad and sorry. She said, so long as the baby is safe in the hands of her mother, that was okay, So life went on. She's so much into urban lifestyle, work and all those things young girls go through with that neglect she has, towards her child.
Now, Wanjiku, what's the situation in Kenya? Do you have cases like this as well? I mean, the biggest challenge is also older Africans are facing taking care of their grandchildren, but be it also healthcare, pensions, or any other challenge that you can think of.
Okay, I think I'll concur with Frank. Yes, I'll say that the challenges are so many. We have had hundreds of cases because we do home-based care. We go to their homes, visit them, and I then do a needs analysis. The worst case scenario that I've had is that a woman did not have children. She did not have children in her young age. So she was so lonely. And when I visited her, I found her in one room, and the church would just visit and deliver some supplies. Unfortunately, they never turned her in her sleep or in her bed, and we found her with maggots all over her body. And we tried to treat her. And unfortunately, she was in the village where she slept on a rubber bed, and a hole has been dug in the bed so that her waist to go to a small bucket they had put under the bed. So there are so many cases that we face. Yes, they have children, they have great-grandchildren, but they are incapacitated. They're either sickly, they are unable to travel, they can't go anywhere. So, and the grandchildren are very busy out there, or even the children are busy out there. So the cases are phenomenal because we have hundreds of cases that we try to support. Fortunately, we have, as Spirit Elderly Care Foundation, we have tried to work with the government or the Ministry of Interior to see how we can support each other. Things are getting better because water is being brought closer to the villages by the government. But as an advocate championing the rights of older persons, those are the things that we try to go to the community, encourage the community to take care of those elder persons who have no one to take of them. The Kenyan Constitution, Article 57, actually talks about the government supporting the elderly, and also we as families should complement their efforts. And as NGOs and other organizations, it's a calling for me to actually just take care of the elderly, and give them compassion. So we don't only look at those who are poor, we also go to those who are rich and lonely, because you find that the kids are abroad and extremely too busy. So we just go to their homes, visit them, give them compassion, sing, dance, organize parties like the October 1 International Day of Older Persons 2025. But I will tell you, there are issues facing the elderly lack of food, lack of clothing, shelter is dilapidated. Those are the many challenges that we face. More importantly, lack of proper health care from the people they need most. That is something that is really concerning.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just also wondering, Wanjiku, how African governments, maybe let's talk about Kenya, are prepared for demographic shifts.
First, I will say that the government of Kenya, I'll compliment the government, although it's not consistent and it is inadequate.
Frank, you just tell us what the Ugandan government, whether it is prepared for this demographic change.
Well, the government supports older persons through policy, direct income support, and social protection programs as enshrined in the National Council for Older Persons Act. Now, the Senior Citizens Grant is a direct income support program providing a monthly stipend to eligible older persons designed to reduce poverty and provide the basic level of income security. Government also established the equal opportunities, and of course, the older persons also categorized as people with special needs. Now, although the government does that, which we appreciate, we feel it's not enough. Most of these policies and stuff are lip service. They don't translate into action. For instance, a government gives older persons, like I told you earlier, a person considered an elderly here is from 60 onwards. But when they're giving out these grants, it is usually from 80 years upwards. Although they are caused, requesting for the government to have it lowered down, perhaps to 65, so that they could also receive. But still, what they give them is not enough. This monthly stipend is not enough. It's a joke, and it's so sad to see that they give them as little as $8 a month. You can imagine what this can do for an older person who is in need. At times, the shelter is dilapidated. They are also sickly most of the times. They don't have basic needs. So giving them this amount is a joke to many people. So we feel the government, whereas it has done something, we feel it should do enough to have them, catered for and looked after as senior citizens of the country who have contributed much to the country. Despite their old age, they need a better, support.
And how do cultural attitudes toward aging shape the experience of older Ugandans, Frank?
Now, here, the older persons command respect and dignity by culture. Of course, we've grown up, respecting older persons, and it's moved on generation to generation. And we all know it's where we're going. As we age, we appreciate old age. So
I want to stay young forever, Frank.
Yes, all of us want to stay young forever, and we're trying so hard to stay young forever. But at times, nature calls, and this is the point. It will demand all it has missed the past years. You denied it, but it gives us the sense that what older persons are is where we're all heading. And it's reason why these older persons are given jobs. Sometimes you find them doing, simple jobs, like maybe working in hospitals. At times in markets, you find them selling foods. And then you also find them in schools. They're usually cooks or they're matrons and stuff like that. And some of them, go ahead and employ themselves and, by cleaning streets, selling newspapers or newspaper vendors and stuff like that. So that attitude we have, we as Ugandans who are yet to get in that age bracket, at least it gives them a soft landing and gives them a clear path to give them space at least to enjoy their elderly age, because we know that's where we're all heading. But
right.
all in a nutshell, they command respect, they command dignity.
If you are to look at your grandmother or other older people in Uganda, If you were to pick one policy change that would make the biggest difference, what would it be?
Well, the policy change I would pick, I would lower the age. I would lower the age of benefits from 80, bring it down to 70, and then ensure that the elder persons are catered for in all aspects. We would construct for them housing, for better shelter. We would also give them that monthly stipend, like the government does, though it is little. We would increase it, say, from $8, which is what they are getting, to about maybe $50 per month. I would ensure that at least health centers are brought closer, and these older persons are catered for, are given priority than the younger ones, in terms of receiving healthcare services.
Kwanjiko, I mean, to find out from you why aging matters for Africa's future and what needs to change. If you had to pick one policy change that would make the biggest difference, what would it be?
It would be healthcare. That's the first thing. And at least the commitment from family members. In fact, in Kenya, I would want a bill to be passed in parliament so that families should take care of their own older persons.
DW's Frank Higa and Wanjiku Joyce Kairu, founder of the Purity Elderly Care Foundation and one of Africa's leading voices on aging and elder care. Many thanks for joining us.
Get the stories that are shaping the continent here on Africa Link.
Now, away from the conversation, we sampled some young people in Uganda's capital, Kampala, on what they think is best to take care of older people. Take a listen.
Actually, if we've got relatives that are elderly, we need to pay them a visit. Actually, when people come to town or urban areas, they abandon villages, they literally just give them calls. It's very important for anyone in an urban setting to pay a visit to the elderly, the other side, so that they can really feel like as though you do care about. And the other thing, at least, the support that you can best give them, I think, you engage them in several matters that you carry on, you as an individual. For example, if a girl of my age, 20s and above, you have maybe a job that you want to execute, take advice from them. They feel like as though, oh yeah, my daughter thinks I'm well knowledgeable about this stuff, and that's why she decided to contact me.
We, the working class, should be doing monthly contributions towards, of course, a fund that is kept at home, just to take care of eventualities like sickness that comes abrupt and all those necessities. There should be some money that is readily available. So monthly contributions is something that is a way that can help, of course, to improve on their lives. Then, of course, the other thing is to have always frequent visitations to these people, because we need to reconnect time and again. We need to get down there, spend some time with them, like weekends maybe or public holidays. They need that social setting where people can, reconnect, talk, and then, of course, try to show them that type of affection that they've been missing for some time. That is also one way. Then the other thing is mainly maybe if for people who are very, very distant, phone calls, time and again, maybe twice or 3 or 4 times in a week, depending on how your schedule is. If you are flexible, you can hold a conversation like for 1 hour or 2 hours for those ones who are abroad. But in Kampala here, you can sustain even a conversation beyond 3 hours on telephone, talk to them and then comfort them. I think that is the best way we can.
You've heard them for yourself. Indeed, aging in Africa is not just a statistic. It's a lived reality for families, economies, and communities. And while I might secretly wish to stay young forever, sipping my tea without back pains, the truth is none of us can escape time. What we can do is prepare, care, and make aging a journey of dignity for ourselves and for those who once carried us. That's it for this edition of Africa Link. Remember, you are not just a listener, but a crucial part of our community, and your engagement can shape the direction of our discussions. We value your insights and encourage you to share your thoughts with us. Remember, you can find all of the Africa Link podcast episodes on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your podcasts from. This episode was co-produced and edited by Isaac Mugabi. My name is Josephine Mahachi. Thanks for listening. Until the next one, it's bye for now.
DW. Made for Mind.